Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been an extremely long time since I last posted a video on here. To say the least, it's been an incredibly weird, stressful, intense 2020. So it just hasn't really felt right for me to kind of hop back on YouTube. And I've also been dealing with like my own personal health stuff this past 8 months. So it's been a little crazy. So I've just been posting Instagram like photos and the occasional little tutorial here and there, but I miss YouTube. So I'm back. And I figured I would walk you guys through kind of my quick everyday makeup routine. I know I've posted a video similar to this on my channel before, but because it's been so long, my routine has changed a lot. The products that I use has changed a lot. So I wanted to show you guys what I've been loving and kind of what my quick everyday makeup routine is. So that is what we're gonna be doing today. Before we hop into the video, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and you have the post notifications turned on so you know when I post, since now I'm gonna be posting more frequently and you don't want to miss one of my videos. So let's jump into it. For complexion, it kind of varies day to day what I'm going to be doing, and that kind of dictates what kind of product I'm going to be using. So typically my everyday product that I love is the IT Cosmetics CC cream. I literally have one in every single formula and shade, since I do self tan occasionally. But another foundation that I do sometimes mix in is the Bite Beauty Changemaker foundation. I'm obsessed with this formula. It's pretty lightweight, probably more medium coverage, but it is buildable, and I love mixing it in with a tinted moisturizer or something a little bit more lightweight just for every day. This one does have SPF 50 in it, so that's why I really like to wear it on top of my SPF that I wear daily. It just has some extra skincare benefits in it, so I like mixing these two together. So that is what we're gonna do, and I usually just use a little Petri dish, make a little cocktail on there. So I'm mixing shade Fair in the IT Cosmetics CC cream and shade L20 in the Bite Beauty. Actually, I'm probably gonna put in a little bit of shade Light because both of these are kind of a little light for me right now. And so I just put the three right there, and I just kind of mix it with my finger, nothing special. I've already put moisturizer on, so I don't typically wear a primer on a day-to-day basis. I don't personally see the benefits of primers that much, so I'm not a huge primer person for just kind of an everyday makeup look. And then I'm using the e.l.f. beauty sponge, which has quickly become my favorite beauty sponge. I just really like the shape of it. It's super soft and squishy, and because it's kind of more almond shaped, it's perfect for under the eyes too. So it's just kind of been my go-to. And because this is a quick kind of lighter makeup look, I'm not really doing a lot of eyeshadow. Typically I would do my eyes first if I'm doing a smoky eye or something colorful, just so that I don't have to deal with fallout. But this is gonna be pretty light. So this is honestly my favorite complexion product. I just feel like it looks so dewy and hydrating on the skin. I just wish they had a little bit more shade range just when it comes to the undertones of them. They kind of pull a little bit more pink on me, and I know they have a pretty decent shade range, but I really like more golden kind of undertones personally. So I kind of just put this all over, and whatever's left over kind of swipe on my lids because I have a lot of discoloration on my eyelids, a lot of veins. And I take it down my neck just so I don't have a makeup demarcation line, because my neck is really white. Even when I self-tan, it doesn't grab onto my neck very well. And then I just kind of go in with a little bit more product, just kind of where I want a little bit more coverage. Some of the meds I've been taking is causing not only my face shape to change a little bit, but a little bit more breakouts in areas I'm not used to. So you just press really lightly with the sponge, and that gives you more coverage. That way it's not kind of soaking into the sponge more. How has everyone been doing with everything going on? It's been so crazy. Everything on social media, I feel like everything's happening at once right now, and it's gonna be a very pivotal year for us. It's sad and it's frustrating, but it's also essential. I think we really need change. We've needed it for a long time, and even though it's all happening at once, it's better that it's happening at all. And then for concealer, I wish I had a quick, just one product that I use, but unfortunately I don't. Again, my health stuff's been kind of shaky, so I haven't really been sleeping very well, so I have to mix in kind of a peachier concealer. So I use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Creme Brulee. Because it's so peachy, it color corrects the darkness under my eyes really well. So I put a little bit of that on first, and I usually flip the sponge around just so that the foundation isn't mixing in or like I'm adding more product under my eyes. Like, even though I'm going to be layering concealers, I try to use very little bit at a time, because the more product that you use under your eyes, the more it's going to crease if you have fine lines there, which basically everyone does. So that's what I do first. And then I go in with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh concealer. This is the hydrating one. It's super like dewy under the eyes. I really like this formula. For an everyday routine, this usually takes me like 15 minutes, 10 if I'm rushing. But I always focus more on skin than the eyeshadow, because you can just look so put together if you've got brows and your skin done. So I'll just put like a bronzer in my crease and call it a day. And my go-to bronzers have kind of been between a couple products. So my favorite is the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel bronzer. It looks like this. It's in like it's a cream pot. So what I'll do is I'll grab like an angled kind of dense brush, and I will start by applying that kind of on the back. And I just do a little bit just to add, I mean, you can see like that already did quite a lot. The other one that I really have been liking is the new Fenty cream bronzer. The shade that I have is a little bit more cool toned. It's called Butter Biscuit. So that one's kind of more for like contouring. But for my like quick everyday, I try to do as few steps as possible. So I keep it pretty minimal. And this has just been like the bronzer that I think is the easiest for me. It blends out really fast, and it just is the perfect color. So I don't take it all the way around my face. I just kind of like focus it right along the top of my forehead, and then whatever's left over, I just kind of blend down. But most of that product, I focus kind of on the top. And so obviously I have like a straight up line on my forehead. So I go back in with the beauty sponge, a teeny bit more of the foundation I just picked up, and I just am meshing that together. So yeah, I kind of like go over it too with the sponge just to kind of soften that line. So you can see that there's still a bronze line there, but it's nothing that's too intense. And then for blush, if I'm in kind of like a cream mode, I just stick with creams. And I really like the Flower Beauty Blush Balm. And this one's in the shade Pinched, which is pretty peachy. But it's super subtle and natural. So again, I'll just kind of squeeze it on like my little Petri dish. And I'm just using like a different part of the sponge now that I haven't used already. I've been focusing my blush a little bit farther back than I typically do. I used to put it really on the apples of my cheek, but right now my face shape is a little bit different. So I like to kind of lift my face more by putting more product back here rather than focusing it on the apples. So it's super sheer, super quick. I love using that first, and then I usually go in with my MAC Warm Soul, which is really light. It's a good neutral shade. It's probably a little bit more pinky than it is peachy for me, but it's got a really pretty glow to it, so it just looks really nice on top of any kind of matte or cream blush. And just applying that in the same place as before. And I always like to pat products. I know I see a lot of people like buffing things, but because I don't really use a lot of powder, whenever I am going in with like a face powder product, I just like to press it on the cream so that way it doesn't move the liquid or cream base that's underneath it. And I totally forgot to set my under eyes, so they're creasing already. So I'm just going back in with the sponge with no product on it and just blending that out. And for powder, I typically like going in with the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. It's just like a translucent powder. It's really fine, and that's why I like it, because it's super lightweight. So I just pick it up on a little brush and looking up, just setting that under eye just so it doesn't crease again. I always set my T-zone, because even though I'm pretty dry, that's where I would typically get a little bit more shiny throughout the day. So I set the center of my face and pretty much leave the rest for the other products. But yeah, I love that powder. You can barely tell that I'm wearing powder, so that's why I like it. And last but not least, for the face is highlighter. And my favorite is and always will be Becca Moonstone. When I'm a little bit more tan, my favorite is Champagne Pop, which is more peachy, kind of golden. But honestly, the Becca highlighters are my favorite. It's so pretty though, because you can keep it really soft, which is what I'm gonna do right now, or you can build it up. They're just the prettiest formula. And they don't look dry on my skin. So I kind of pat, and then I'll go in and lightly dust it. I like putting a little bit above my brow, and then down the nose. So moving on to eyes, obviously the foundation that I put on my eyelids has creased a ton. So I'm just gonna pick up kind of more of a matte concealer that I have. I'm gonna grab the Benefit Boing Cakeless Concealer. I like using this for my full face looks if I'm gonna be like highlighting. I love putting it like down the center of my face, but for everyday under the eyes, it's a little too dry for me. Eyeshadow palettes, again, change kind of depending on my mood, but a really good everyday palette that I love is the ColourPop Bare Necessities palette. It's just got like every single neutral shade that you could possibly ever need. So I'm gonna set the concealer with just a skin tone color right in there. And then I just kind of go in with my two favorite shades in this palette, Hot Gossip and Complicated, which this one has a little bit of like a shimmer to it, but those are just super pretty. And sometimes I'll add a little bit of like a peachy shade kind of in the crease. So I'm gonna go in first with Hot Gossip, which is that first one, which is just a really pretty neutral. And I'm just kind of like starting on this outer portion of the crease and then slowly bringing it forward. It's just supposed to add a little bit of dimension back to that eye. The fluffier brush that you use, the easier it would be to blend, and then also where you're holding your brush. If you're holding your brush really close, you're probably gonna have a difficult time blending because your pressure is gonna be harder and it might skip. So always try to have like a light hand, light pressure, and you could do either little circles or just like back and forth motions. So that's it for that first shade, and then I'm just gonna pop like one more in the crease, and then that's it. So I'm gonna take a smaller brush. This is just like the Morphe M433, just similar to like the MAC 217. And I'm picking up that shade Complicated and focusing this a little bit lower than that first one, and also only taking it halfway. So I'm not blending that all the way forward. I'm just gonna stop right in the middle. You can also just use, like I said earlier, your bronzer and just do the same technique and only bring it in like halfway. As long as you bring a little bit more structure back to the eye after kind of blanking it out, that would be all you would need. And I'm just gonna take actually a little bit more of that skin tone colored shade and just pack that on the lid a little bit more. And now I'm taking that first shade, that lighter one, Hot Gossip, and just quickly running that under the lash line. Oh, if you guys don't have a brush like this, you need one. This is the Sigma E36. It's a super small blending brush, but this is like the only thing I use under the eyes. It's so quick and easy to just dust a shade like this. You don't have to like go back in with another brush and blend it out. It's just 2 seconds and you're done. For mascara, my kind of go-to lately has been the NYX On The Rise mascara. The formula is just really natural. I really like how it makes my lashes look. For every day, it's just really, really nice. My lashes do like a weird curly thing at the end. I've been using the Grande lash serum and it's been making my lashes grow like crazy, but it almost makes them like too long and then they start curling. So I have to like trim them sometimes. Honestly, this mascara is just so quick to apply. I feel like other ones that I use, sometimes you really have to like sit there and make sure it's all like separated and evened out, but this one is just so easy. So that is it. I don't like putting mascara on my lower lashes for every day. I just think it looks a little too like heavy for what I like. And then for brows, I love the Glossier Boy Brow. I'm just wiping off some of the product because it gets kind of clumpy on the applicator. And I'm using the shade Blonde. I like to comb them straight up in the front, and then as I'm going towards the tail, I start kind of going diagonally and then straight across. So I like to do this first, and then I'll go in with the Brow Flick by Glossier, or I'll do the Precisely My Brow Pencil by Benefit. It just kind of depends. The Glossier one sometimes is a little like hard for me to use still. I'm not really used to it, but it's really nice for applying like actual hair strokes. But I have the shade Brown, which is a little bit dark, so sometimes it's like a little intense, but I just add a couple light strokes here. I feel like I just need to like practice with this more because I've heard that like once you get the hang of it, it's so easy. I don't know if you can hear my husband on the phone. With COVID, he's been able to work from home, which has been amazing, especially with everything that's been going on over here with my health stuff. It's been really nice having him home. That is it. That is it for brows. Quick and easy. And then for setting spray, I have so many that I like, but the Morphe continuous setting spray is in front of me. I have a little mini of the illuminating setting spray from Cover FX, which I love. But honestly, my favorite like face spray like of all time is the Kiehl's Cactus Flower Mist. It smells unbelievable. Like the best thing you'll ever smell in your life, I promise. Oh, so good. And I like to do that before lips so that it doesn't blend in with whatever I'm doing. And my go-to is I love doing like a lip liner and like a teeny bit of a lipstick or a gloss. And the liner that I really love is the KKW Nude Liner in 1.5. And basically like I'm just gonna be lining, I'm following my natural lip line on the bottom. I bring it down a little bit in the center. And then for the top, I go up a little bit and then I follow my lip line down. One side of my lip like is a lot lower than the other, so I have to kind of go up a little bit more. Close enough. I have to see once the lipstick's on. Lipstick, honestly, I'm kind of like torn between two. I either use the KKW lipstick in shade 3 or MAC in the shade Cherish. It's just like a really pretty nude. What I'm doing is I'm just like blending the lipstick into the liner. Looks a little crazy on camera, but in person it doesn't look that dramatic. So I add a little bit more of like a more brown lipstick. This is Bad and Bare by MAC. Yeah, that blends a little bit better. And that's it. That's like my quick kind of everyday makeup look. Like if I'm meeting a friend or if I have a shoot or something like that, like this is my makeup that I typically go for, just because it's so skin focused, so it looks like I'm put together and I'm clean and fresh. And throwing on like a lip honestly makes like a huge difference. You could throw on like a pair of light lashes too and it would just look like completely put together. For my typical, like if I'm going out, like I'll do more eye makeup, but this is kind of my everyday makeup I've been doing like for the past, like, I don't even know, 4 months whenever I do go out. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today and watching my kind of everyday makeup routine. If you guys ever have questions about products I use or techniques I mention, you can always drop in the comments and I will always respond to you guys there, or you can DM me on my Instagram, which is Chelsreymua. I miss filming, I miss doing makeup. Posting photos and stuff is super fun, but it just gets really redundant. So I'm excited to be back here and to be doing some fun creative looks with you guys. If you have any like specific requests or looks, you can always DM me or reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.